Welcome, everybody, to our December 14th, 2 p.m. consent agenda meeting. Please let the record reflect that all three commissioners are present. We do have a lengthy agenda today, but just to go through a few items, we will be taking item 3H separately. We do have two public hearing items, which are under public hearing item number 5. And we do have 4 by leave items, and I will read those into the record. By leave item number 6 is a resolution in the matter of the 2022 wage adjustments for certain non-represented Spokane County employees. Number 7 is a resolution in the matter of the assignments to various boards and commissions for calendar year 2022 and the designation of alternate representatives. By leave item number 8, a resolution in the matter of approving the proposed ground rules for negotiations between Spokane County and Council 2. And by leave item number 9, which is a resolution in the matter of declaring Spokane County Sports County USA and other matters related thereto. So we are going to start today with a presentation of a Project Excellence Award for Spokane County Public Works Department. And I will invite Chad Coles and Kevin Cook to join us via Zoom. So just one moment as we, okay, I see we have Chad with us. Do we have Kevin with us? And there is Kevin. All right, so I'm going to hand it over to the two of you, whoever wants to lead off on this. Feel free to unmute and take it away.
Well, thank you, commissioners. I appreciate you taking time to be with us for this presentation. I'm actually going to hand it off to Keith Martin, who's our area local programs manager. I can't remember your local programs engineer. Keith, are you around?
Yeah, I am. Thank you, Chad. And I'm hoping that I can hand it off to our director, Jay Dry, and our Federal Highways acting area engineer for Washington, Mindy Robertson. So I'm hoping Jay is out there somewhere.
Yeah, let's see. Hopefully you can hear me okay.
Yeah, we're gonna get
All right. So thank you, commissioners, for allowing us some time on your schedule today. Like Keith said, I'm Jay Dry. I'm the director of the Washington State DOT Local Programs Division. And we have Keith Martin with us, who was speaking here a moment ago, who's the Eastern Region Local Programs Engineer for DOT. And then also we're honored, hopefully she's here, not sure if she's on there for sure or not, but hopefully we have Mindy Robertson, who's the acting regional administrator for the Washington division of FHWA. And so each year, the Washington State DOT Local Programs Division and FHWA in partnership, we review the many local agency projects throughout the state and go through a process of selection for awards of excellence. So maintaining, and this is nothing new to Spokane County as far as maintaining and preserving our transportation infrastructure continues to be more challenging today than it ever has been. And it's no simple task, and each project has its complexities. Statewide, I have around 1,000 active projects at any point in time. And each year there's approximately 200 projects that would be eligible for consideration. For a project to be considered through the nomination process is an honor, and then ultimately to be recognized for the award of excellence is a significant accomplishment. Projects are complex, and it takes a pretty complex team and partners to be able to make projects into a reality. Got a really cool photo of the awards that we're going to present. So imagine that you're seeing the cool photos and poster that come along with that. But today we would like to recognize the Spokane County for the 2021 Best County Project, State of Washington, for the Award of Excellence for the Mill Road Hastings to Dartford Road project. And like I said, as the recipient of the award, we have a fine engraved wood plaque and a nice poster that's a nice display of the project as well that will be on its way to the recipient. So again, I would like to say congratulations to Spokane County for the 2021 County Project Award of Excellence. And at this time, hoping that Mindy Robertson's available to share a few words from Federal Highway Administration. Oh, look at that. She got her video to work. Man, I feel left out. All right. Doing good, Mindy. I'll turn it over to you. Thanks.
Thanks, Jay. And thank you, commissioners, and congratulations, Spokane County, for everything you have done to bring this project to fruition. I know that it definitely had its challenges and that it took a lot of teamwork, you know, just straight from design all the way through construction. It definitely takes a team to get a project like this on the ground. So thank you very much for your hard work in getting us to this point. Some of the things that I appreciated about this project was that it really looked at all users, that it made sure that we had appropriate upgrades within the project to ensure that those who needed accessibility through Americans with Disabilities Act were able to have those features within the project, that safety upgrades were made to help with the vehicles within the project, that there was consideration for how close this bicycle or this project is, and to have a bicycle network that joined in with regional bicycle networks, and to ensure that there was the ability for pedestrians to enjoy this project. So thank you to Spokane County for what you've done on this project. And with that, I'd like to turn it back over to Keith Martin so that he could just say a few more words.
Thank you, Mindy. I appreciate it. And Jay, yeah, as Jay and Mindy have indicated, I mean, this is a huge honor. I mean, the competition is fierce for these, you know, with 39 counties in the state, and there's only one winner, and that's Spokane County. We're really proud of that. Yeah, as Mindy mentioned, I mean, the multimodal integration of this project, the ADA improvements, the connectivity for the bicycle route that connects Hastings all the way down to the Children of the Sun Trail for the North Spokane corridor, and you know, all of the other Friends of the Little Spokane River Trail system. This is a really big connection that the bicyclists will now to be able to enjoy safely, thanks to this project. Also, environmental compatibility, you know, adding the stormwater and treatment facilities and keeping heavy metals and pollutants out of our aquifer. You know, we much appreciate, you know, in the community, you know, just public satisfaction, and also just the construction administration excellence, and also just the great construction quality that went into the project. So I just wanted to congratulate Spokane County. I also wanted to give a recognition to my staff, in particular Brett Johnson, who was the lead in my office that collaborated and worked with Spokane County to help make sure that the federal process was navigated and that there was no holdup. So we appreciate all your efforts, Brett. So thank you. So with that, again, congratulations, and I'll maybe turn it over to Chad and Brandy. Maybe I have a few words for their team as well. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Keith. I'll keep it short. I know the board has a lot to do, but I do appreciate you guys coming and getting us. This is a great team put it together, led by Jake Saxon and Brandy Collier. Excellent work. Thank you very much.
So I do have the poster and the plaque in my office. So, you know, after the meeting, Brandy, I'll connect with you and make sure that you get that, and you can proudly display those awards in the county engineering office somewhere. So thank you again.
Well, congratulations, Chad and team, and Kevin, Brandy, Jake, Matt. I mean, you guys are rock stars over there, and you make us proud every time we have you on here. So thank you guys for everything you do. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, we love working with the county. They're a great team. You really should be proud of them. They really do a great job. And we enjoy partnering with the county. So thank you. And yeah, a well-deserved shout out.
Very much so. Thank you very much. We appreciate it and congratulations again.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for joining us and thank you for recognizing our incredible team.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, so the rest of our agenda, then I would be open to a motion for items 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, including all sub items except 3H, which we will take separately.
So moved.
Second. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion, comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. So now we will take item 3H. This is in the matter of adopting a policy opposing any local income tax on wages, salaries, investments, the sale of goods or services, or any other income sources. We have a motion to approve item 3H.
So moved.
Second. All right, any discussion, comments? I'll jump in and just say, I think this sends a strong message of where we all stand. That there's been movement across the state. Several jurisdictions have moved forward trying to impose local income tax bans. There have been several cities and counties locally here. The voters in the city of Spokane have an income tax ban, and then the city of the Spokane Valley put in through resolution a local income tax ban. And I am proud that we will be joining those municipalities, showing where we stand. It is our responsibility as commissioners to represent the well-being of our families and businesses here locally, and I think this is a great way to do it. Any other comments?
Agreed.
All right. We have a motion and a second to approve item 3H. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. That brings us to our two I'll ask preference. Would you like to finish up with the by leave items or take the public hearing items first?
Let's finish up with the by leave items.
Okay, all right, then we will go to by leave item number 8.
So just. So Mr. Chair, I move to approve the proposed ground rules, which will govern the procedural aspects of the negotiation process between Spokane County and Council 2, and further designate Joshua Grove as the chief negotiator for Spokane County as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve item by leave item number 8. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Brings us to by leave item number 9, and turn it back to Commissioner CUNY for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve in the matter of declaring Spokane County Sports County USA and other matters related thereto.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further conversation?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I bring this forward on behalf of all three of us, and that all three of us are committed to not only the newly opened podium, but also the other sporting events throughout the county. And now that the school district is moving forward with the stadium, we will have that as also one of the inventory items for Spokane County. You know, when you look at all the recreational and sporting opportunities available in the county, from downhill skiing to cross-country skiing, water sports, hunting, fishing, then all of the other recreational activities, including now soccer, baseball, softball, football. I mean, we have a full array of sporting activities now available, or soon to be available, through the new stadium to offer the citizens of Spokane, but also to the country. You know, and we have world-class facilities in the podium, which is one of its kind on the West Coast, but also a premier facility in the country. So bring this forward to recognize that Spokane County is sports county USA. If there's a sport other than doesn't involve water surfing, we can do it. And this puts a stake in the ground for not only recognizing what we've already done, but also marketing what we can do for the rest of the state and the country. So I'm grateful to my fellow commissioners for support of this. I have worked putting it together with Stephanie Curran with the BFD and others to make sure that this is something that we can not only be proud of, but can also market.
Any further discussion? All right. So motion to approve by leave item number 9. I'm sorry. By leave item number 9. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. That brings us to our public hearing items. Public hearing item number 5A is in the matter of Newman Lake Flood Control Zone District for 2022 assessment roll. And this is a public hearing, but I believe we are going to lead off the presentation from Chad or Mary Ann.
Mary Ann passed it on to me.
Okay, take it away, Chad.
She looks much better than I do. We have a really quick presentation to go through. Ron, do you have that handy?
Yeah, it's being pulled up right now.
Perfect, thank you. So this is the Board of Equalization hearing for the Newman Lake Flood Control Zone District 2022 assessment roll. Next slide, please. Next slide. So this is an opportunity for property owners within the boundaries of the Newman Lake District to present information regarding the fairness of individual assessments for the proposed 2022 request adjustments by the board. Draft roll has been prepared and approved based on the budget approved by the Board of County Commissioners on October 12, 2021. And the draft roll has been available for the public to review on the Newman Lake Flood Control Zone District webpage since November 23rd, 2021, with notices published on November 18th, 25th, and December 2nd in the Spokane Review. The total assessment includes the proposed budget or the approved budget, which is a 26% increase for 2022, and is calculated at $320,781, approximately $65,000 or $65,603 more than in 2021. See, the notice of the assessment hearing was also sent to each of the property owners on November 30th, 2021. Of the 1,760 parcels in the district, 761 have an assessment ranging from $2 to $2,554.78. The county engineer recommends approval of the Newman Lake Flood Control District assessment roll. And there's a couple of slides presenting, if you go on, Ron, the distribution of the assessments within the district with the charges and the spread. One more slide, please, Ron. This is just a bar graph of the same information. Before we turn it over to hearing, our attorney, Amy Starrett, would like to inform the board of some other information. Please.
I didn't, what was that last thing you said, Chad? Did you just say you have other, you say you want to share other information? Is that what you said?
Our attorney, Reese Starrett, for the Flood Control Zone District, would like to share some additional information.
Okay, I'm sorry, I did. Yeah, feel free to take it away.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, as well as the members of the commission. As stated by Mr. Coles, at this time, this is the opportunity for members or property owners that are within the district to come forward to challenge his or her assessment. should someone come forward, the challenge should be reviewed by the board, applying the legal standard of fundamentally wrong basis. That basis requires that the burden be placed on the property owner who is challenging the assessment to prove that it is incorrect. It is presumed that an improvement is a benefit. It is presumed that the assessment is no greater than the benefit. And lastly, it is presumed that an assessment is legal or rateable to the assessment upon other properties situated, and it is fair. The owner, as well as an appraiser, may testify in this matter. It's recommended that the board should act on each protest separately prior to taking action regarding the entire assessment role, and that it would be beneficial if the record identifies each challenge by either the property owner or the parcel number that is identified. Does the board have any questions?
So if there is a challenge, we will then vote on each of those challenges after the individual has made their case.
Yes, sir.
Okay, just want to confirm that. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. All right, Chad, do you have anything else for us before we go to public comment?
No, thank you, commissioners. Unless you have questions for me.
Okay, any questions for Chad?
Yeah, I guess, was there any that came in ahead of time? Any challenges that hit?
Not that I'm aware.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, all right. So this is a public testimony. This is the opportunity for anybody who does wish to contest their assessment. So just one moment while we pull up the attendees. If anybody wishing to testify or contest their hearings, if you're joining us by phone, please press *9. If you're joining us via Zoom, please use the raise hand function. Second call for anybody wishing to testify or contest their assessment. Again, if you're joining us by Zoom, please use the raise hand function. Joining us by phone, please press *9. Third and final call. Got a few more seconds here. Anybody that wants to speak? Seeing nobody wishing to testify, we will close the public hearing. And I will look to my fellow commissioners for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the Newman Lake Flood Control Zone District 2022 assessment roll.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. That brings us to public hearing item number 5B. This is consider proposed increase to sewer service fees, GFC rates, special connection charges, and other additions, deletions, and modifications to Spokane County Code Chapter 8.03 Sanitary Sewer Code. And I will turn it over to Kevin Cook.
Good afternoon, commissioners. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. Kevin Cook, Environmental Services Director. Pleased to be before you this afternoon to give you a brief presentation regarding this hearing for some changes to our code, and not the changes that are of most interest to most people are some recommendations for rate adjustments, and then we've also included various other adjustments to the code language that I'll also go over. But first, I would like to focus on a summary of the rate adjustments that we are proposing. Ron, if you could put that slide up with the table, the one after that. I'm going to take these a little bit out of order. Thank you very much. What we are proposing for the monthly sewer service fees is to increase the rates for some of our customers and decrease the rates for most of our customers, resulting in an even across the board rate schedule for our customers. The reason for that is that there is a proposed reduction of $1.10, which represents a surcharge in the wastewater treatment plant charge that is currently part of the city of Spokane Valley and the city of Liberty Lake customers of the utility. There's a surcharge based on the various uses of the APA fees. And that use of the APA fees for some of those fees for debt service on the treatment plant is no longer in effect. And therefore it makes sense to eliminate that surcharge. Everyone will see a 50-cent increase per equivalent residential unit in their operation and maintenance portion of their bill. So for a single family house, this results in an across the board rate of $47.41 per month. And then the other charges follow, as you'll see in the detail in the attachment relative to duplexes, multifamily, commercial. It's basically all boils back to a 50-cent per equivalent residential unit increase. The last time we increased those charges were about 3 years ago in April of 2019. So this is a very modest increase considering the increase over time. With regard to connection charges, we have not increased connection charges since February of 2016, and we're proposing about a 5% increase in both the general facilities charge and the special connection charge. General facilities charge, the unsubsidized rate for new construction would go from $46.30 per equivalent residential unit to $4,830 per equivalent residential unit. Similarly, the special connection charge would increase from $3,560 per equivalent residential unit to $3,740 per equivalent residential unit. Ron, would you, and I would say, before moving on, that the Wastewater Policy Advisory Board, including Commissioner CUNY and Commissioner Kearns, met on November 11th, and there was unanimous support for these rate adjustments from that 5-member board. Ron, could you back up to the other page? Thank you. And so the balance of the changes that are being proposed are largely administrative. You see there, the top bullet is discussing what I just went through relative to rates. A number of the definitions of various terms have been clarified, and we see a need for that from time to time, and want to make those more clear. Other changes that we are proposing clarify various billing procedures, and improve the associated financial controls for those procedures. For example, the rules around making a full payment payoff of connection charges or partial payments of a substantial size. We've also changed the terms for payment plans to specific periods of time. And this is in recognition of the fact that the option that we currently have built in to customize the length of the term to any number of months is hardly ever used by our customers. And so it's much more smooth and efficient to have defined maximum terms, which is what the vast majority of customers want to see anyway. If they're not planning to pay it off, they want to spread it out over the maximum period, that is. I'd also say that I wanted to point out we're expanding the eligibility for our deferral program for connection charges. Current code has a deferral program identified for low-income seniors and low-income disabled folks. We're expanding that so that it's simply based on income level. If your income level is substantially below average, then you can qualify for our deferral program. which simply means that the payments, including interest, become due when the property changes hands. We're simplifying the billing of charges for new construction, tying it to a period of 9 months after the sewer connection is completed. Clarifications are added regarding the rules for temporary dependent relative housing units. This is something that is rarely used but needs to be more clear within the code. And also the conditions under which we will suspend sewer service fees. For example, in the case of a fire that destroys a building and other emergencies. And various other minor changes to clarify things throughout the chapter 8.03. So that is a very quick summary of the changes that are presented in the attachment to the resolution as Exhibit A. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions that the board may have.
Any questions for Kevin? Commissioner French?
So, Mr. Cook, these numbers do not reflect the possibility of the city of Spokane imposing their utility tax on unincorporated residents of Spokane County serviced by the sewer extensions in the valley. Is that accurate?
That is correct.
So that if the city were to move forward with assessing that charge, and after we finish an extended period of time in court, should we lose, that additional charge would be on top of what you presented here. Is that fair?
That's correct.
So just so that our good neighbors across the river understand that we work in partnership together, but when you start to talk about taxing folks in other jurisdictions to serve your general fund, that stresses the partnership relationship. So just wanted to make sure that the public understands that this does not include the financial hardship created by the city's imposition of a utility tax.
Correct. If we were faced with a 20% tax on gross revenues, we would need to increase all of our rates by 25% to cover that. Because it's a tax on gross as opposed to a tax on the charge.
Significant imposition to citizens that have chosen not to live in the city of Spokane, but will end up paying to subsidize services inside the city that they will not enjoy. So thank you, Mr. Cook, for all the work that you do on behalf of the citizens of Spokane County.
Thank you.
Okay, any additional?
I would just add to that, it's not just the citizens, it's the businesses, it's the school districts, it's the other agencies that all have facilities and businesses and buildings that are hooked up to our sewer system that are not in the city of Spokane that would be imposed equally, having to be imposed on that tax.
Thank you both for highlighting that. That is very, very important. So, all right, well, this is a public hearing. So anybody wishing to testify on item number 5B, if you're joining us by phone, please press *9. If you're joining us on Zoom, please use the raise hand function. Second call for anybody wishing to testify on item number 5B. Third and final call. Again, if you're on the phone, please press *9 to indicate you wish to testify. Joining us via Zoom, please use the raise hand function. Not seeing anyone wishing to testify, we will close the public hearing. I will look to my fellow commissioners for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the proposed increases to sewer service fees, GFC rates, special connection charges, and other additions, deletions, and modifications to Spokane County Code Chapter 8.03, sanitary sewer code as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. All right, we will sign some documents here. That does it for our print and consent agenda, but there is one more item, I believe, Mr. Cuny, as a cleanup item.
Yes, one additional item, Mr. Chair, with the CARES dollars are due to be spent by the end of December 2021. I move to, I am making a motion to allocate any unspent CARES dollars remaining as of 12/31/2021 to go to allowable CARES expenditures within Spokane County Public Safety Departments.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion, comments?
We don't anticipate those to be much, but anything over 50,000 was, did have to be allocated by the board. And so we just want to make sure that we do that today, since we will not be meeting again before the end of the year. And so Scott, the CEO, will have that ability to properly account for those funds.
Sounds good. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. All right, so we will sign some documents here. I do want to highlight, just for Commissioner French and CUNY, when this one comes by, we initial at the top of the committee sheet. We sign the resolution, but also just initial at the top that it's correct. So Scott.
We had a conversation earlier this morning about the contract with Northwest Municipal Advisors.
Yep.
Gary and I met with Mary. I just wanted to see if Gary has an update for the board on that.
Yes, thank you, Scott. The form of the agreement that we have right now is in PDF form, but all we would need to do is strike out two little provisions on the term of agreement, in that we could make the agreement remain effective until December 31st, 2021. And then there's a secondary line, and I can bring this down and show it to you. Termination of engagement agreement, and it requires termination by either party with 30 days notice. You can change that to 15 days notice, and it fits comfortably within the year-end timeframe.
Mr. French?
So does this mean that we're terminating the relationship with Northwest as of the end of the year, or what exactly are we doing here?
So Gary can help this. This would be a new contract with them. They don't have a contract with us right now. Their previous one expired in 2020. This would be a new contract with them to cover the work that they've done with us for the 2016 and 19 refinances, and it covers that period of performance.
So what are we going to do in 2022?
Any number of directions the board may want to take.
Does this mess anything up with the documents we're closing on or signing on Monday?
It shouldn't.
Okay.
It'll cover all the services that have been performed as part of that work.
Okay. But the number referenced this morning that Gary said, as far as the 1.3, that's all still moving forward. Nothing gets
Actually better than that.
Oh, but okay, right.
Gary, what's the latest one?
It's now 1.5 million in net present value savings.
Okay. And
So-
this doesn't delay or change anything, correct?
No.
No. So with the board's permission, I can run this PDF document down. You just strike out those two small provisions, and I'll show you where they're at, and then you could go ahead and take action on it.
So we have a number of bond projects for next year. What do we do for bond counsel and the services Northwest provides?
So one of the first ones I'm aware of that we'll probably have is with the airport board. And it sounds like there might be some desires, and the board needs to talk about this with the airport board, of using some both bond counsel and municipal advisor that have airport experience. So I think that's a conversation that still needs to take place.
Okay.
So Mr. Cogan came into the meeting after the other one. And so we talked through that, but he thinks it's going to be separate, municipal advisor that specifically deals with airport bonds.
Right.
As well as, he's got somebody in his office through their firm. For airport. So for the other things, then we can, look at that, but this was not a contract extension. This was because their contract for Northwest Municipal Advisors did terminate in 2020. So I just would like to be able to provide input and see what our options are.
So what about the fire range? Sorry.
That one will be one. We have one probably on some discussions around the Vista Stadium as well.
Right.
So the SAR is,
And we will definitely be looking to a municipal advisor, and we can certainly talk to Northwest Municipal Advisors. I need to gain some comfort
Okay.
on whoever we choose.
Essentially what we're saying,
So
are we just gonna be putting out then a RFQ or an RFP for other companies to come forward? Is that essentially what we're doing? We seem to be talking code here. Is that what we're doing? We're just opening this up for other
so
companies next year to come and fill this role?
legal has advised because it's a services contract, or professional services contract, it can go through an RFP, but it does not need to go through an RFP.
Okay.
So this contract would, the way it's being revised right now would only cover through the work that has been done. The county would, the commissioners would need to identify bond counsel, would need to identify a municipal advisor, financial advisor for any future work that's being done, up to and including Northwest Municipal Advisors.
So
Gary, how do you feel about this?
Well, I think we've gotten good service from Northwest Municipal Advisors on this last bond. I think Scott Bauer was very engaged and instrumental in getting us where we are at today with the 1.5 million in savings, working closely with Barclays and with bond counsel. But that being said, you can make these decisions for your financial advisors on a bond issuance basis. You don't have to employ them or have a contract with them saying that unless advised otherwise, you'll use them. You can just choose at the time of the bonding who you want to use.
well, so I'm just going to put it out there. I mean, Northwest is providing services for us for quite a while, and we get good rates and good services out of them. I understand that one of the commissioners has a different recollection about how we ended up with a different advisor for the PFD. But I don't want to be abandoning somebody that's provided good service at a good rate for us because one of us are uncomfortable. So I'm looking for a clear path on how we're going to resolve this so that we can get to a point where we can identify who's going to provide this service in the future. That's all I'm looking for.
So in the future, would it be incumbent upon the board to have a presentation made by bond counsel and then the board collectively make a decision on each of the bonds on who the financial advisor would be?
I don't think we need to do it on a case by case. I mean, I just said, I'm not comfortable at this point in time with this firm. So I would not be voting for an extension. And it's not an extension of the contract. So I would not be in favor of going to 2024. I would like further confirmation and discussions with this firm before I feel comfortable. So I think in January, we can look at, do we do an RFP? Do we not? We don't need to do an RFP, but at this point in time, you would not have one commissioner voting in favor of this firm.
Well, and that's okay. It only takes two to move forward and stuff. So I don't know what it's going to take to get that comfort level. There's obviously a disagreement. There's obviously a difference in what the recollection is about what transpired with the PFD. And I think that's something that we need to resolve internally before we start looking at trying to shift agencies that have been doing work for us. So I guess I'm trying to look for clarity around the path forward.
Mike, I don't know what was said in that meeting. Apparently there was another meeting with Roy. What was said in that meeting?
Our meeting,
I don't have all the pieces here now.
So our meeting.
Now I don't know if I want to vote either way on this right now. I kind of want to punt this till I can talk to Roy. I can get all the pieces here. I don't know. I don't know all the pieces I'm working with right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no,
when
that's
it comes to
fair.
this issue.
So what we're trying to solve on today is Commissioner CUNY had raised some concerns or questions around Northwest Municipal Advisors having a contract beyond the end of this year. So what we tried to come to a path forward today, because it's the board's last meeting of the year, because Northwest Municipal Advisors is providing services for the current bond refinancing. We wanted to make sure that there was a contract with them to allow, with the BOCC approval, to allow them to get paid. So that was the purpose of the meeting. Roy then shared what he knew of an upcoming bond in the near term, which is likely going to be the airport bonds, revenue bonds that could come in front of the BOCC. And there might be a desire to have some unique qualifications around airports for serving as bond counsel and as the financial advisor. What we've got to get some clarity on for Commissioner French's question then is what does it look like the timing of the small arms range is, and then get some clarity back for the board on what is the go forward approach with selection of a financial advisor for future bond issuances by the county.
So the conversation this morning revolved around questioning the integrity of the municipal advisor with regard to a potential conflict of interest in the PFD. You know, that's her recollection. That's not mine. It was my recollection that it was actually the contractor that brought forward the potential conflict and looking for direction from the board as to how to address it. So that issue is what, in my mind, is on the table that needs to be resolved. Is there in fact an issue with regard to the integrity of the group or not in terms of their eligibility to continue to serve the county?
I don't think I can answer that, Commissioner French.
No, I know that you can't, you weren't here.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to get clarity around, is how do we resolve that issue?
We can try to go to the audio from that meeting,
Okay,
which will not get done today. I did not know that we
Yeah.
had contracted with Northwest Municipal Advisors. So, I mean, that's part of what the red flag to me when they were asking us to sign this
Right.
agreement. That was, I didn't even know we had contracted with them.
okay,
I think Gary raised a good point, and we'll own that, is when this opportunity came to us, very short turnaround with the bond refinancing, rolling back, we should have come to the board and made sure that each of you were aware, and then who our advisors would be on that. That was our fault. So one of the things going forward is when we do have these coming up, when we can look out multiple months and a year to highlight what those bond issuance opportunities are, that we get the board kind of giving us the head nod about who you want to use for your counsel on these.
yeah, I know that all this transpired before you got here and stuff, so actually it transpired before both of you got here and stuff, so neither one of you own this, and I'm not to imply that you do. I'm just trying to figure out, okay, if we're gonna move forward with municipal advisors, how are we gonna do that? And then if one of the commissioners has a question about their integrity, we need to resolve that and stuff, so and listening to the tape is a good way to resolve that, and so we pull up the tape. I have no problem moving forward and paying them for the work they've done. That's only the fair, right, and reasonable thing to do. So I don't have any problem with that. But I'm worried about getting ahead of this for next year so that we don't end up the last minute, trying to figure out who's going to be our advisors on bond issues.
So for Gary and I think what we can do when you come back into session at the beginning of the year, we can kind of map out what we understand some of the potential bond issuances might be during 2022. So you can see what those timeframes are, and then when we need to have some resolution on our bond counsel and should there be a difference in a need to go to a different bond counsel and the financial advisor as well. So we could do that one of your first meetings in January.
And even with the audio coming up, I mean, they came in with a presentation of numbers. So, I mean, so they knew that they had this potential conflict and still came in with the presentation numbers before asking for us to agree or not agree.
Yeah, but so they were doing some of the initial due diligence before we'd entered into contracts with anybody. And they were the ones that raised the issue of potential conflict, as I remember.
That is not my recollection.
And then we ended up saying, okay, if they're conflicted out, who else are we going to go to? And I don't remember who made the recommendation that it be, I think PMF and Mr. Brown, but that surfaced, and I think that's who we ended up with in terms of giving us outside counsel. So, but I just don't feel comfortable with us making a decision about a contractor under the presumption that there's an integrity issue, when that contractor has served us very well for many, many years and stuff. So if we're going to change direction, I just want to make sure we're on solid ground and that it isn't based upon perception and memory. So we can get some clarity around that. That would be very helpful. I know that in my conversations with Mr. Krogan, his memory is the same as mine and stuff. So if it wasn't, I would say, okay, my memory is failing and it's a different, but that's not the case. So somehow we need to get clarity around this, not only for the sake of the county, but also for the sake of the organization whose integrity has been brought into question.
Is there any action that needs taken today for the current
Yeah, we need
business
to
that we're doing with that?
approve the contract going through the end of the year.
Correct, because this is a contract that's going to be over $50,000. So we do need a board action on it.
Okay. Is there a motion on that?
So I move to approve the contract for Northwest Municipal Advisors through 12/31 of 2021.
Second. Motion and second. Any
And-
further? Oh,
As modified with a 15-day notice in the new contract instead of 30 days. So it puts us well before the end of the year. So there was only 2 modifications
The date and
and the length of time for notification.
both of you accepting of that?
Yep.
Yep. Okay, motion in a second. Any further discussion, conversation? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Is this one you want me to sign?
Yes, and
Yes.
then
by Spokane County.
if you'll initial the changes to Josh. Today's the 14th. The changes are where are they? Here. You'll initial those 2. Very good. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Okay. Any other miscellaneous items?
Not by me.
Okay. Jared, got anything for us?
Just approval of the news release on Sports County USA that I sent to you, and then a few follow-up questions on the income tax ban that I also just sent to you.
Sounds good.
So-
Okay, we will tackle those. Anything else for the good of the order? All right, seeing none, then it is 3:05 and we are adjourned for the day. Everybody have a great afternoon.
Happy holidays.
Yeah.